Okay. So, so I've been trying to get better at figure drawing, and I thought, one of the best things or one of the first things to learn when you do figure drawings is to work on gesture drawing. So I made a goal for myself to try and do about 1,000 gesture drawings. So I started doing a bunch, and I thought we can do some live on stream. If you don't know what gesture drawing is, essentially it is a quick way of capturing the figure and the essence of the figure in the lowest amount of lines. It's a glorified stick figure. So there are many different ways of doing it. There's no one way. There's no one correct way. Every artist has their own way of doing gesture drawings. But really, the big point is that it should take 1 to 2 minutes only. So it shouldn't be a very long thing, and you should only do it very quickly. So I like Michael Hampton's way. So if you don't know Michael Hampton, he has lots of videos online where you can watch the way he does it. He also has a book where you can look at that. But I'm going to go through a bunch today, and we can do a few gesture drawings together. But after that, as we're doing this, I can explain the method that I do from Michael Hampton's. So essentially, I start with the head. Put a direction just to give it an idea. Then we do the neck. Then the way I like to think about it is where the curve is, or where these angles are. So I try and use with that. So it's the what do you call it? The rib cage. What is the rib cage doing, and what is the spine doing? So I like to do this as a line like that. Then we have the curvature here. Then we have another one here. And then we kind of close that line. So that's the stretch. So usually I have one line here, and then there and here, and then the stretch. And then I like to put wrapping lines to indicate the direction. And then after that, we use the leg. So what Michael Hampton says is to try and look at the leg first that is anchoring the body. So in this case, it's this leg here. One line there, then goes to the knee, and then another line, and then again wrapping lines. And then the foot. As you can see, very, very simple. Then we go to the other leg. Wrapping lines. And then another one. And then we have the foot again. And then the shoulder. Put the shoulder indicated just very simply. Then we got the arm. Wrapping line again. And then another shoulder here. And wrapping lines. Then we can put wrapping lines for the bottom here for the hip as well. So essentially very simple. A few things that I struggled with at the beginning, and I think they're very important, is that these lines are not the contour of the body. So this is not what we're trying to do. What it is just the flow. So it can just be like this, right? It's not necessarily the contour of the body. That's a very common mistake, and I really struggled with that at the beginning. And it's good to exaggerate during gesture, because after that, when we learn more about putting construction and adding the anatomy, we can stiffen it a little bit more. But if our gesture is stiff from the beginning, then our drawing will naturally be a lot more stiff. So I'm practicing a lot of this, obviously. So some of these are easier than others. So we'll just go through. So this is another one. Put the direction. We have the neck. And we have the back there. There's a bit of curvature. And we put the extension. some wrapping lines. Maybe the wrapping lines need to be a little bit more curved, like that. And we got hips. And we got the two legs. So one goes like that. And we had the foot. And we got the other one. And then we got the foot again. And then we go to the shoulder. One shoulder here comes down. If you have any questions about anything, I can try and explain. But you can also do some of these with me. Usually when I do these, I have a timer. Just for the live stream, I don't have a timer on, but that's how I usually do it. To try and not spend too much time on these. Usually I do maybe 90 seconds or 2 minutes or something like that. Go to the next one. So one thing is like how do we know the wrapping lines? Where do they go? So essentially we need to figure out where is it coming towards us or away from us, especially when it comes to the legs and arms. So we can see this is like the chest is pointing up, right? So that's why the wrapping lines go like that. Then the hips are generally is pointing down. So that's kind of where it goes. Then we do the legs. So this leg is coming towards us. That's why we have it facing this way. And then this one is going a little bit back. So the wrapping lines for those would be facing back. And then the other leg is going away from us. So the wrapping lines for all of it will be like that. So we can go like this. Then we got the knee here. And then we go to the other foot. And then when it comes to the arms, again, it's kind of like that, the wrapping lines. You can try and look on the reference itself to see if you can figure out where it's going. It's hard. This one is coming towards us a little bit. We got the elbow here, and then it goes away from us. Few important things, I think, is the lines that we use. We don't want to use too many. So a few things that are important when doing gesture is that we don't want to use symmetry too much, because then that just looks weird. So if I was going to do this drawing here, and if I just do it like this and then like this, I don't want to do it like this, because then that looks a little bit weird. Even for the arms, I don't want to do it like this and then like this, because it just looks weird. Symmetry makes it looks weird. So you want to always try and have the lines flow. So you got one line going this way, then the other one goes this way, the other way, then this way. So there's always the lines flow from one to the next, rather than having it symmetrical, and adds a little bit more interest to the painting, or to the drawing. So we'll do this one here. This is the head. The neck is going this way. Go one line like that. Then like this. And we have this here. See? And then we have this foot, this leg, I mean. And then we have the bottom part of the leg, and then the feet. This one is going a little bit away from us first. Knee, and then it comes back towards us. Foot, and then we have the arm. The other arm. There we go. The next one is this one here. And my hope by doing 1,000 of these is that hopefully I can practice many different poses, many different ways of doing gesture, and many different difficulties. Usually I don't select them like that. There are many different websites that you can use for gesture drawing that brings random photos. A Line of Action is one of them. But for this stream, I thought just so that everyone can also see the references, it might be better to just select a bunch of drawing or bunch of photos first, and then we can do them together. But generally, it's better to just use get random ones so that you can experience or experiment with different poses all the time and different body shapes. And one thing that gesture does is you don't really care about the body shape too much. You're just capturing the motion of the body and the essence of the body. So it doesn't matter if it's a muscular or skinny or a bigger body type. The gesture is the gesture. The construction, yes, you will need to consider different things, but here we don't really need to. Got this block here. We got the hips. So generally speaking, on a normal, natural looking body, the rib cage is usually facing up, and the hips is usually facing down, because the rib cage in its natural position has an upward position. So if we're looking at a body from the side, the rib cage is usually facing up. It has that up looking, and then the hips are usually facing down like this. So that's why, and a lot of times when we put the wrapping lines, the rib cage is facing up and the hips are facing the other way. So this is another angle. So now we're getting to a more interesting angles. So again, where is the bend? I like it here, I think. Here, because we can see more of the back, so you can see the wrapping lines look a little bit different because it's the back that we're doing. Then the hips, similar with the hips, so it's almost the opposite of what we talked about. As far as, because we're looking at this reference from the back. And then we got the legs. Oops. It's coming towards us a little bit. And then I like to put a little bit of, do the shoulder, we'll put a little bit more detail of where it's coming from. It's coming like this. here we got this, and then this. Then when there's too much clutter or too much overlap, one thing we can do is make some of these lines that are in the front darker, so that we can kind of see where things are coming from. Okay, this is an interesting one. Hello. Mitsuni, hello. Okay, so this one got the angle this way, this way. Gesture drawing is fun to do, but it's also a good way of doing warm-ups. Like if you don't know how to warm up, you can start warming up by doing gesture drawings. This one, I think the wrapping line should be, it's more like this. The hips. And got this leg anchored here. It's going away from us. And then we got the feet. And this other one comes like this, coming towards us. And the foot is like that. Right? Shoulder, arm. And then the other shoulder is behind the head there. It's going back, and then it's coming up. Yeah. The next one. You know, Proko also has their own way of doing gesture drawings, and they have what they call it's kind of a combination of gesture and construction, the RoboBean or the bean method. Essentially, they try and capture the shape in a very simple, maybe we can try for this one. Simple shapes. So like, for example, the top part is like that, and then comes down, and then goes like this. So it kind of looks like a bean. That's why they call it the bean method. But you need to know more about the twists of the body and how things go. It's kind of a between gesture and construction. So it's a little bit more difficult, in my opinion, than just simple gesture. And then from there, you can just add the legs. So we have that going this way, this way, this way. And then you can see like it's more complicated than just simple gesture. But it gives you kind of that transition. But the way I'm trying to do this is try and do as much gesture as I can. And then from there, I'm going to try and do Michael Hampton's construction course and learn. He has that on Proko, and learn a little bit more about how he does construction. You can see here it goes like, it's almost like that, right? And the hips here also. And then we have this leg here, comes down, the knee here. This other leg is this way. It's coming towards us. There's the knee. And then, oops. This is very foreshortened. And then we got the arms. So when we want to go from here to construction, essentially we want to start adding details of the, I think, well, I haven't done too much of his course yet, but essentially we want to add the shape of the rib cage. So it could be like, there's a box here, and then the hips also goes like this, and then we turn these into cylinders, right? So this is where construction is coming in play, right? You can see here. But for now, I'm trying to just focus on just gesture. Try and get as much practice as I can before I move into construction. Gesture, when there is foreshortening, can become a little bit difficult. Maybe we'll run into a few. This one has a little bit. So the way I'm thinking of this is there's a little bit of curve here, here, and then like that. If I do that, so you can see this is a little bit foreshortened, right? So the neck, and then we can go like this. So the lines will be shorter because it's foreshortened, right? Again, like we said, we're not doing the contours, right? Thank you very much for the comments. If you have any questions, let me know. Like, trying to figure out, I'm also learning these, right? So we have this leg here. Foreshortening is always difficult. Always still struggle with that. I think a lot of artists struggle with foreshortening. This is going back. Too long. Yeah, it's going back more like this, coming back an angle, and then the foot. Then we have the other leg. For the hands, essentially you can have it. I have been kind of almost skipping it, but let's do it here. Can do it for this example. We got the arms, elbow comes down. You can have it as continuation of this line here, and then just like that, very simplified. And if the hand is extended, when maybe we'll look at a next example, maybe we'll be like that. But essentially, even this whole arm can be one line. It doesn't need to be the whole arm, and hands can be one thing. Like it can be just one simple S-shape line. And then can just go like that. It's simple. We don't need to do too much. And then we have the platform here. We don't need to complicate things because it's just gesture. Once we go into construction, maybe we can start adding more details of how the hand looks like. Because this is supposed to be, like I said, a 1 minute long, 2 minutes, 2 minute long, 1 to 2 minutes, depending on how you want to do it. So there's no really time to do too much. But in this case, for example, the hand is a prominent thing. So maybe we need to add something to show that, right? So we have this. the neck is going this way. So we put that. Right. Let's go this way. And then this is like this. And the so like that. So now when we do the legs, so much happening here, so much overlap. It's down. Same here. It's coming towards us, the knee, and then foot. This is going back, right? Then when we look at the arms, this is coming towards us. And then this one is going up like that. It's also coming towards us. So here we can just simplify it like that. Like it can just be like this. Doesn't need to be anything more than that. The other hand, like I said, when there's so much overlap, it's good to maybe sometimes go back and emphasize what's in the front. Like this hand is in the front, right? And then we got this in the front. Kind of the idea. We'll see how many we can get done today. Getting more into the more interesting poses now. Before there were more standing straight on. The neck is going this way, so there's so you can see here the back is more the stretch part. So the part that I want to have the bend in is where the stomach is. And then I have that. The wrapping lines go like this for me. And then for the hips, that. So then we have this leg. It's coming a little bit towards us. Knee. Like that. And then the other one. It's coming like this towards us, and then it's going back. So we can't really see it, but then we can see the foot kind of right here. And then like to do when it's the back, the shoulder blade a little bit. And then we have the arm. Same here. This is really going back and for short. You can see that. Okay, next one. So one of the other reasons to have a timer, because when we don't have a timer, a lot of times we just want to add as much detail as we want. We might spend like 30 seconds to a minute on the head and then don't have time to do anything else. So it helps us, hello Madhu, it helps us, having a timer helps us think about what is important and what can we skip. Traditional, yeah, gesture drawing, it doesn't matter. It can be on regular piece of paper. It doesn't need to be digital, of course. I find that traditional art, like with digital art, I find that we have the eraser is a lot easier and the undo button is always there. So sometimes it's actually better to do these practices with on piece of paper, just because when we put a line, we need to be it helps us be more confident with our lines rather than here we just erase. But yes, there's practically no difference between the two other than they're just tools. The skills are transferable for sure. So here we put this, we have the stretch. So it's more like that. The hips are also facing up because of just the pose. Then we have this leg this way, coming towards us a bit. There's the knee. And then this is facing away from us, going back. And one of the things that I learned while watching Michael Hampton's videos about gesture is that it's also a quick way of looking at something and making a change to it. That's one of the things, because it's really just a few simple lines. So if you want to make a change to a reference or a pose that you have, it's easy to do it at the gesture level because you don't really have to worry too much about adding detail, or maybe if you want to do it at the later stage, it might be a little bit more difficult. And at the gesture phase, it's easy also to find some of the things that we're doing. For example, like this should probably be a lot more out. Like we can see here, they almost interfere, and this doesn't. But the idea is just to do lots of these and quickly notice these things and move on to the next one. This is one off the back. So the neck is coming this way. And then we have, there's a curve here. Like that. So essentially this, it's this way. Like there's a curve to it like that. Thank you very much. I'm trying practice, to get good at drawing is really just practicing and practicing and practicing. There's so many resources online these days that we can learn from. So many great artists. So I try and put in the time to get better. One thing that I like, the ballet poses, they're very good for gesture practice. There's so many good ones you can find. Oh, we forgot the other leg. But yeah, I like finding these gesture. And this arm we don't see. I've done almost close to 200 out of the 1,000 that I want to do, so slowly making progress. I initially thought I can do all of it very quickly, but I realized that I need to take my time doing gestures drawings. And why am I doing them? To just learn and improve. And if I just try and do them all over a weekend, it might be a little bit too difficult and cause burnout. So this one, the angles is a bit from the top. So let's try and do it. So the wrapping lines here, everything's moving away from us. So something to keep in mind, right? So the wrapping line, it's like there's a few cylinders here, right? Here, right? So when we're doing those, always think about what is happening. Again, it's a little bit of foreshortening, so it might be a little bit difficult. Let's do the legs. Forgot about the legs. Coming a little bit towards us. And then this one Actually, no, it's because we're the way we're looking at it, it's from the top, as I said before. So it shouldn't be coming towards us. Yes, it's coming towards us, but still the angle we're looking at, you can see the top of this, like this. Right? And the other leg, this one is also. And then so you can see I made the proportions and the angles are a bit off. You can struggle a little bit when there is these extreme angles. You can see this is more like this, and I have it more like that. So this should have been longer. Should have come to here to get this angle here. But we move on. Point of gesture is try and do these quick, learn from them, and then move to the next one. Okay, so the stretch is here, right? The stretch is here, and the bends are here. So we go like this, this, this. The wrapping line. And then we got the wrapping lines for the hips, right? So now we have this leg continues. There's the knee here. And we got the rest of the leg and then the foot. And then here we have the other leg. It's coming towards us, very foreshortened. And then comes down like this. So we got this like that. How many years have I been drawing? How many years I've taken it seriously? Probably 4 years now, close to 4 years. Obviously I used to draw as a kid, just like most of us. But then I stopped for many years. I didn't really draw. And then it was kind of around COVID, when COVID hit, started, you know, drawing on traditional piece of paper just for fun, just because we didn't really have anything else to do. So when started doing that, then slowly I was like, oh, this is fun. Maybe I should do more of this. Then I started watching YouTube videos, learn more about, you know, digital drawing. So once I got interested in digital drawing, you know, I started watching Ross Draws, Sam Does Art, Mark Brunet, and then I just got a drawing tablet and decided I should do more and practice more and see, can I actually learn? When I started, I couldn't really draw too much. Just to give you an idea, I could only copy like anime style because I could see the lines. I could see the line art, so it was easy for me to look at the line and look at the line art and copy. But then now I can do a lot more than that. I'll show you now some of my early stuff to give you an idea that with just practice, you can get better. You just need to put in the time. Let's see. Some of my early drawings, 2021. Like I could do, oops, something like this, right? This was pencil and Copic markers. So I could just copy it. This is not my original idea. Mega Man, This was a drawing that I could see and I could copy. Like most of my stuff was like this. I was just having fun with it. My first ever digital was this one. I was trying to figure out how to do digital. This was my first ever digital drawing. But then slowly, now 2025, I am making stuff like this, right? So big difference, big progress. In my opinion, I've learned a lot. Different kinds of stuff, doing stuff like this. This is my favorite one. But it takes time. It takes time, takes practice, takes learning the fundamentals, like not skipping. Okay. So I think if I can do it, anyone can. So you just need to put in the time and practice. Thank you. Yeah, it's I'm happy with my progress. Obviously not, we all have our days where we think we're not good. So I think the most important thing is to have the attitude that I'm always learning. If I have that attitude, then I will always improve. Seatings, you can see the hips are also facing down, and like the same wrapping lines as the rib cage when we're seated, rather than, it's not, you like we said, typically when we have the rib cage facing us like this, it's up, facing up, and then the hips are usually facing down. But when we're sitting, this actually tilts up a little bit, so it can face up as well. So when we're drawing that, when we're doing the wrapping lines, we think about that. This is very foreshortened, this leg. Right? And this other one comes, it's not very foreshortened, but still coming towards us. And goes back. And then shoulders, arm goes this way, and then comes back. Same here. Comes this way, and then comes even more. So that's that. Then next one. Okay, interesting one. Okay, there's a lot of stuff happening here. Okay, so like I said, ballet poses, they are very good for gesture drawing. So this goes like this. So the stretch is here, right? This is the stretch. But before that, there's a lot of foreshortening here. So we have this part here, comes like this. Then there is bend here, and then we have, this is very difficult. Okay. The stretch goes like this. So now when we look at the wrapping line, there's a wrapping line like this. And then at the back, there's wrapping line there. So then when we want to put the legs, okay, this was a very hard one. And the other leg goes back and then comes back towards us, right? Then we got the arm. right? Then we got the other arm, which is here. This was a little bit of a difficult pose. Yeah. And there's so much foreshortening and overlap, it makes it a bit difficult. That's why I'm doing these, to practice and practice and practice. The neck here. Got this. Start there. Overlap, and then overlapping lines here. And then here we got this leg. It comes up a bit. Oops. Got the knee here. Then comes back. Then the other leg comes from here. Yeah. The knee. And then oops. And then it goes back. And we got the shoulder here. Down, and then the hands, like we said. It's very, very simplified. And the other shoulder is back here. Can't kind of see it. There we go. Okay. Done 20. Got 10 more. See if we can get through these a little bit quicker, and then we can be done. The practice for today. One thing to do is honestly just doing, before you start drawing, doing 10 gesture drawings, 1 minute, 90 seconds. So it takes you like 15 minutes to do them. It's a good way to start warming up. And gets you practice. If you want to learn more about gesture, it's a really nice way to, gives you the warm up that you need, and also the practice gesture. Okay. The most important thing that I said, this is not these lines are not the contour. So if we say, oh, this line is actually covering the body and this line is far, there's a gap, that's okay, because this is not this. This line here is not this here. This is just this line showing just direction that this is going. Right? We're not really, even this line is not this. It's actually like just the direction, right? That's why it's okay. Some things maybe it's okay to check, like if we want to check this with the head. Yes, the head is a little bit more forward, but you know, you don't need to, this is not the contour of the body. Okay, so I'm gonna say the curvature is there. I'll go here. Wrapping lines. The wrapping lines really, really help tell the story of which way things are facing. That's why I really like to put these two wrapping lines very quickly at the beginnings, because then you get an idea. It tells a lot. These 1, 2, 3, 4 curves tells a lot about what is happening with the pose. Okay, shoulder, shoulder. Moving away, moving away. Okay. Again, this is not the only way of doing gesture. You can simply, if you think you can just do this with just stick figure and try and simplify to capture the pose using stick figure, you can do that. The idea is to be able to capture the flow and to have something that you can build on. Oh, this is like this afterwards. We have this going back, and then the feet. Very foreshortened here. See the stick, this sword, and here it's going back. Yeah. Like, I feel I didn't exaggerate this enough. Like it should have been more curved, but can do those on the next ones maybe. Okay. Go, and then we got the shoulder here for the arm. It's back like that. Also have the other arm there too. Okay, number 25 out of 30. Getting there. So there's a lot of motion here. Same here. And then it's the one leg that comes this way. Then goes back. And we got the other leg. And going back. see this is better. And then lots of motion in the arms here too. So it's important to have this because it really gives an idea of the pose, right? Well, sometimes some poses, the arm is not really contributing too much, but here it's very, very important. We're shortened here, we have the arm here, and then we can even have this thing here if we wanted to. Right? So things that you notice, like when you do these, like, yeah, maybe this head should have been lower. You can see like the shoulder is almost at the top of the head, right? So gives you an idea when you do these very quickly on what things you miss and what things you notice, because there's only a few lines to look at. You don't need to look at so many details of what you've done. You see, oh, which line should move. It's that simple. And this one goes like this. We have this here. Same with this. We got this leg coming towards us. Towards us even more. Then we got the foot. Got the other one. I'm just doing 30 today, so we're at 26, so we have just 4 or 5 more to go. And then that's it for today. But I am doing... I'm trying to do 1,000. I've done quite a few already. I've done maybe... With these, would be close to 200 that I've done. Yeah, the goal is to do 1,000, and I'm hoping to make a video about that. Like, what did I learn after doing 1,000 of these? Yes, that is a lot. 1,000. That's why it's going to take me some time. I'm not going to try and rush through them because I want to actually learn from what I'm doing and not just do 1,000 forcefully, because I want to then move on to construction and how to add details and construction into the gesture to make it look more like an abstract thing, move on from an abstract thing to look more like an actual figure. But I thought if I want to do that, let me practice quite a few gestures, because I'm doing all of these based on Michael Hampton's method, and Michael Hampton just builds his construction off of his gesture. That's why I wanted to do all of that. Okay, last 3. Got some foreshortening here. There we go. And last one. And the other leg is going this way, coming towards us. Then it's the knee, and then it goes back here. And there we go. So yeah, we did 30 together. Took us about an hour. That's not bad. So on average, it took us about 2 minutes to do each. And that's the idea, to do quickly, do these very fast and learn a lot from them and move on to the next one, get that motion, get that rhythm in the hand to do gesture drawings. So I'm just going to continue on doing a lot more over the last few weeks and try and get myself to 1,000. And then I'll make a video about how did it go, what was the idea, why did I do 1,000, and what was the end result. Did I learn much, and how was the experience generally? And thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.